Let's get it, man. We live. Elite Digital Radio presents the Elite Podcast. Elite Digital Radio, the app, is now available on Apple and Android. Elite Digital Radio, the IG page. Elite Digital Radio, the YouTube channel. Elite Digital Radio is also now available on Spotify. It's not just a name, it's a lifestyle. Elite Digital Radio presents the Elite Podcast. The Elite Podcast will provide a platform of conversations and interviews that will discuss diverse intellectual content that may resonate with you or to you in our culture. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Them Elite Boys is at it.
Elite Boys is at it again.
Hey, I'm your host, most hated 6Ds, alongside my co-host.
Laws 24.
Hey, what's good, man? How you?
Oh, it's another beautiful day, bro. We got a banger today. We got an old school OG up in the building, bro.
Elite Podcast followers, tonight we start season 2, Cannabis series with a banger. You heard? With a banger. Tonight we talk cannabis and all things relevant. Name the king of Kush, the self-made entrepreneur, winner of numerous HighTimes awards, award-winning strains from the US to Spain, to Jamaica to Peru, OG in the game.
OG, Mr. Bret Bogue.
Please help us welcome Mr. Bret Bogue, a.k.a.
Apothecary Genetics.
Yes, sir. What's up, Bret? How you?
I'm very, very fine, guys, and thank you for that introduction. Just enjoying a nice, brisk Thursday day here in New York, up in Yonkers, just chilling out, just enjoying the last little bit of sunshine here. Thanking and being very thankful for the day, you guys. Very thankful.
Well, we appreciate you being here, Bret. This is our hash series. Season 2, we're just starting. You're our first guest in season 2 for the hash series. Really, we're happy to have you here. We're happy to have an OG in the building. You know what I mean? It's great to have you. And, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself, your journey here, how you got here, and how you've been killing it in cannabis and what it's done for you.
Yeah, it's been a journey, that's for sure. I got started when I was pretty young, back in the early 80s, growing up in a place in the Pacific Northwest, known for cannabis, known for a lot of its inner workings tying to Canada as well and things of that nature. And so at a young age, at 12, I planted my first cannabis plants. And of course, like a lot of us young kids, the parents found them and of course destroyed them. And I was the worst kid in the neighborhood. Oh my God, how could it be? And And as we all do, we go along our journey. My parents got me on I had ADD and a lot of probably little social issues as a kid. Just I was all over the place. So my parents got me on Ritalin, and one thing led to another. And I was about 15, 16, and I really kind of took a liking to the cannabis plant, even more so as the years went on. And I started realizing that the cannabis plant actually was my medicine at a really young age. And my parents started realizing and seeing me in a different light as far as me using cannabis. And so hence it really, kind of jumped into another kind of being around 18, 19. I got my first place and I just started playing around. I really didn't know a lot about growing then. I didn't know how long the plant flowered or what it took to dry it or anything. I mean, to be honest with you, I killed the first few crops. I didn't even know what I was doing. I turned my plants one time, I turned them to Papa Smurf blue. I thought the more fertilizer you put in it, the better it would be. The next day I came back, the plant was blue. It was Peter's 2020. Literally, it was blue, blue. So, I mean, those are the things you all learn and we go through that. And I think it was really about when I was about 24, 25, I got cancer. I got a rare form of melanoma cancer. And that's when I really started seeing cannabis in a whole nother light, not just this kid, oh my God, let's smoke and blah, 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 and whatever. It came to now a medicine, a life for me. And that really changed my direction, helped me look at things a little bit different. And then, like us all, I had a young family around that time. By that time I was 24, 25, I already had a 7-year-old daughter and I had a 6-year-old daughter. So I had a lot of responsibilities, and of course, money was one of those responsibilities. So between those two things, I got what they might call industrial with my skill set. And long and short, that's when I started really expanding the thought of, and then I opened up Apothecary, just on a whim, actually, with some friends. Some of those people, I think some of your listeners will know. His real name is, we'll give his real name. His real name is Neil Smith, but he goes in the industry by Shiloh Massive. Shiloh Massive was, of course, the owner of Dying Breed Seeds, and now Massive Seeds. And at one point, he was a partner with Brandon in Third Gen. A lot of those guys, especially Shiloh, I grew up with him since third grade. He's actually the one how I got to Eddie Lepp's garden. And that happened in 2000 when Shiloh was living there with his ex-wife, Melissa. She was the head psychologist, for go figure, the veterans. And guess who was her patient? That's right, Eddie Lepp.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
One day, my boy calls up and he's like, yo, this is Shiloh. He's like, yo, I think we've met our dad. And I'm like, what? He goes, bro, you need to come out here. And we were already doing a lot of growing in Washington. I was doing 3,000-4,000 plants outside a summer, and really kind of just hitting it up. The borders were mine from one end of Washington all the way across, all the way into New York, from one side to the other of New York. I mean, from the Canadian border. So we were really we had our whole plug, we had our whole thing, and we were kind of doing everything. And then it got to a point where Eddie had decided that he really wanted to make some changes on the farm. So I remember specifically going there, and it was the summer of 2003, and I showed up, and our friend John, Where's Waldo, at HighTimes, they used to say always, where's Waldo? Well, that was a gentleman named John out of New Jersey. Yep. And he was in a wheelchair. He had spinal bifida, a very bad case of spinal bifida, but what a warrior. So the story is that John was growing in a wheelchair. He had a huge grow in New Jersey in some apartments. Yep. And it was going on for years. Well, unfortunately, it got raided. And when it got raided, the police couldn't believe that they found a gentleman showing up in a wheelchair to take care of this state-of-the-art garden in this building that has been in there for years. Well, he thought to himself, and really so ahead of times, he was like, after he got busted, Eddie would always go, yeah, there's no way within the Disabilities Act of 1973, you should be able to defend your right to be able to take care of yourself. So we want you to keep on fighting, John. So one day, John decided to go down to the police station in New Jersey in a diaper, and he handcuffed himself to the police station. And they didn't know what to do, because now all of a sudden you got this guy, you can see his problem, you can see he needs help, you can see he needs that medicine. And now all of a sudden the police were like, now all of a sudden they were confused, because now all of a sudden, wait a minute, we went after the bad guy. Wait, who's the bad guy here? Wait. What? Uh-oh. Perception, really, especially in the general public, really plays a big role. Yep. So John came out after that, and we were bigging him up and everything, and he got on the motorcycle, on the three-wheeler, somehow got and I was coming down to meet him that day. Somehow he, it's a sad story. Somehow he got messed up. He got his leg messed up. Some of the people who were on the property had some of those opium lollipops for pain. John started taking a few of those for his pain because of what happened. I understand. Okay. And needless to say, that night, John died in the living room of Eddie Lepp's place. And so everyone in the place, got all scared. It was the middle of harvest season. There were thousands of pounds in the living room. There was thousands of pounds on tables, thousands of pounds in the garage, and still more thousands outside. There's probably 20,000 pounds total. So all of a sudden, everyone's scared, and I get a knock at my door, which I'm staying at the hotel right down the street at about I don't know, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, there's a knock, and they're like, all of a sudden it's Linda. That's Eddie's original, Linda, the original wife, and another friend, Erica. And they're knocking on the door and they're like, yo, he's dead. He's dead. And I'm like, yo, he's dead. What do you mean he's dead? John's dead and no one knows what to do. I'm like, no one knows what? So I got in the car with them. We brought back, everyone's, got people in the corner hiding. There's pounds of weed. I mean, just unbelievable amounts of weed everywhere. And right in the middle, there's John, completely blue, with his legs up on the fucking ottoman. And I'm like, yo, you guys didn't even. So I went over, I covered his face, because I mean, dude, he looked like Papa Smurf. My buddy is dead. So I covered him up. And then I'm fucking, where's Eddie? He's fucking over there. So I go over there, and dude, he's pacing. He has the phone in his hand. He's pacing back and forth. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What the fuck? And he's like, dude, what do I do? I'm like, what the fuck do you do? Oh, no, fuck that. Give me the phone. So I got the phone. We called the cop immediately, bro. I don't know, dead body with fucking 10,000 PZs in the goddamn house. What the fuck are you talking about? So fucking the next thing you know, boom, here comes the ambulance, yo. Fucking ambulance comes up. 2 fucking the EMT cats come out. They got the fucking gurney, roll it up on there. It looked like fucking Lego men going over pounds of weed, pulling the gurney over to get it, to put it there. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, dead arrival, time is dead arrival. And all of a sudden they put the body on the thing. They look at Eddie and they go, okay, everything seems normal here, but it seems like we're gonna have to do a autopsy to figure it out. Okay, cool. They pick the body up, and now they take him off. Now, mind you, I was just coming down to take a look at how it worked, what they were doing, how the operations went down. I had no clue my friend was gonna die, and those people are gonna show up. So the next thing you know, I'm like, yo, this is getting a little out of hand. I'm not used to this. I do something completely different than what you guys are doing. I don't do that. I don't do this. I'm not from this state. So the next thing you know, I think I'm not gonna leave. It might be time for me to exit out now, go left, right? The next thing you know, I look down before I come out of the house, and here comes the sheriff, Tony Mitchell, that's his name. So as he drives up, then I'm like, oh, I'm stuck in the house. I'm stuck here. So I go in this little corner and I just sit there and I'm like, oh no, they're gonna hit me up for murder. They're gonna hit me for murder and weed. I didn't do anything. I didn't kill anyone. At least not this time. So I'm fucking like, woo. And I'm like, yo, I can't go up for a body, yo. This ain't me. I don't need one of these charges. So I'm like in there. And the next thing you know, here comes the sheriff. So Eddie, I'm like, I see Eddie and he sees them out of the eye. So he walks out and I see him. He's in a robe, but he reminds me of Hugh Hefner. And so he walks out in his robe, fucking all like dick swinging everywhere. Like, dude, it's just like Rick James. Get the fuck out of here, bitch. And so he fucking walks out and he gets up to the sheriff and he's like, hey, Eddie, how's it going? Good to see you. How's the year this year? And Eddie's like, well, it's not bad. And he's like, Eddie, I just talked to the EMTs. Everything looks normal and natural. No problem here. It's all good. How's the year? You're doing good? Everything great? Looks like you got a great year. Looks like, wow, like you did good this year. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is that sheriff saying to that dude? What the fuck, dude? What? And the next thing you know, he's like, okay, Eddie, well, everything's great. You have a good year. Take care. Eddie, I really respect you. I'm like, what the fuck? Yo, no lie. I went home. I told my wife, I said, yo, pack this fucking house up. We out of here. We are Cali bound.
We going to grow some fucking weed.
And I left, yo. I left and then we went on. And then, it was great. We went there, got to Mendocino. At the time, Tony Craver was the sheriff, made 60 Minutes a lot of times. Norm Vroman was the DA, the first DA in America to actually get a felon and then win to be the district attorney. I fucking love Mendocino County. We got a felon as the district attorney. Yes, that's a good county.
So does Boston and New York and all the rest of them. They just don't tell you. They hide it well.
No, but we were proud of it. We're like, yeah, and you did it for not paying taxes too. You're a legend. So anyways, and those were the cats, and they were so cool. And we had great grows and everything. And then unfortunately, too many of us probably moved in from out of state. They didn't like it. We had, an 8,000 plant garden on about, 6 or 7 acres. And they just were like, that's too industrial. And so we got a little ding there, we did a little Mendocino County jail time for not my 8,000 plants, maintaining an illegal residence.
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't illegal to grow the fucking 8,000 plants. It was illegal to have a residence that stored the 8,000 plants. So anyways, that's what I was charged with. Cool, no problem. Wasn't a federal charge, by the way. It was a county charge. It wasn't even a state charge. So it's kind of funny when a lot of people like to tell your history of who or what you had. I've had fucking little county Mendocino problems.
Yeah.
Nothing ever more, nothing ever bigger than that. So
knock on wood, that's a beautiful thing.
no, of course it is. But the funny thing of it is the stories that will be told about me, they're just so glamorous. You're like, how is that possible? You know what I mean? But it's classic many a times to hear, individuals come up with stories. But so after that, we then went out, we created then the first ever online cannabis college in English and in Spanish. And we sold it in 2010 and did at the time was probably one of the largest publicly traded deals with Cannabis Science. Cannabis Science is no longer in business. That was a learning experience for me, getting into the public arena, as well as learning about the public arena, good and bad, but my experience, unfortunately, was pretty bad. And from that, we've went off, as I said, did that. Then we went to Jamaica, helped write the Dangerous Drug Act in 2014 with the PMP party, and then moved just recently back from Mexico, where we were for the past year and a half, working there with the government in 2021. The lead attorney, her name is Erica Santana. It's a personal friend of mine, and did a lot of counseling and consulting with her as far as the passage of the law. And currently, we are now in New York, anticipating the new laws. We have some business partners out here. We're anticipating setting up our school, nykannaschool.org. And we will be opening up the 1st of May. Our courses are general in practice, bud tending, growing, extraction, and cooking, basic to the laws pertaining to New York, and showing you how to do non-volatile extractions at home, and as well being able to grow your 3 plants limit. That's really what we're trying to do, just teach again the basics. And that's kind of in a nutshell what I've been up to, where I'm from, and what we've been doing over the past few years.
Okay. So now, I'm glad we did it that way, and you gave us a good foreshadowing, because I did a little homework. So I want to take you back to 97, Bret, in Amsterdam, and I want to know what was it at that moment that you knew this was really what you wanted to start creating and dominating in?
That was one of my very first times going. I was 27 years old. Mm-hmm. I'd already been to Amsterdam like 4 or 5 times, but that was really my first time going to the event, the Cannabis Cup event. And it's kind of funny because even back then I was, always thinking to myself, and this is kind of funny, but it's so true. They had Kinkos back then, and I had some people that were going there, and they just made these little plastic lanyards, right? So what do? I'm like, flip, dip, and daddy dough. I made that motherfucking lanyard, baby. Come on. So I made me about 5 or 6, and then I got into the place for free, and then I was walking in, and I remember, and it was Sensi Seed, it was Ben, and some of his partners. And fucking Arian, Fabio, and some of the other cats, Radar, Radar from, or his name's Gene, but from a Serious Seed. He created AK-47 and bubblegum. He's from Connecticut. He was the backbone of Serious Seed before they kind of ran him off. And then all of a sudden the Dutch now seemingly are these creators when they never were. It was a US citizen. But as I'm going around and I'm looking at all this, I'm like, and, you know, again, we're coming from the United States where, you know, it's all hush hush. You can't do this, you can't do that. You know, everyone's really quiet. Here, it's not so quiet. Even when you get arrested there, you pay 75. It was all guilders back then. So it was 75 guilders a plant. So you just put 75 guilders, which is like about $20. So if you got 2,000 plants, you just send it, you know, a 40 spot right over there. So 40K, and you're not even worried about it. And then you're pulling off a $500,000. So fuck, here's your 40K. But if not, here's my $500,000. And it was like such a beautiful thing. And when you're looking at it, I was like, damn, the risk to reward here is so good. It's worth it to come over here and blow it up. So I'd go over there and just blow up big warehouses. You know, my boys ride some motorcycles, if you know what I mean, and they need electricians. And so that electrician came from the US and he was the electrician there as well. So that was my electrician as well. And that's where we got, when we gave the chocolate came from the boys on the bikes, and we gave it to DNA Genetics. They were really kind of limping along. They reminded me of two little welfare recipients. And so the king needed to give them an offering because they were like little bitches. So I just had to say, here you go, because your daddy needed to give you something, because sometimes everyone has to have a real daddy, and I'm most of the game's daddy. So it was about that I just reached over the aisle and said, here's the chocolate, and I gave it to
2006.
So but it's all good. They needed help, and I'm willing to always help. It's not about me being bitter or better or any of that. I'm always going to be who I'm going to be. I was that way from the day I was born. So I don't need to act or do something that I'm not, but I always would love to see how I can help or better someone else. I've learned that a lot in life, that, you know, you can bring whatever you want and you can be whatever you want, but really, what does that mean for the other people around you? Because if you're not adding value to them, you're then a taker. And if all you want to do is take, then I really don't have a place. Yeah, I really don't have a place for you. And I really don't think society has a place for you. But I think if you're willing to step and say, I'm a part of what this is, and I'm willing to embrace everyone around us and give and share with that same feeling, that's what I've always hoped and prayed. That, you know, so many times, as you were asking about, you know, the 1997, excuse me, the cup, that experience is when what I was thinking then and what I wanted is to be able to come together with a craft, with a bunch of like-minded people, and to be able to offer a solution, an alternative solution to medication, an alternative solution to relaxation. And frankly, at the end was the attraction of a lifestyle, because I think all of us can relate. And I think we all do, and especially the people that use and partake in the cannabis industry, we're a lot alike in a lot of ways, even though we come from diverse backgrounds and different cultures, and however you want to really put it out there. I think that in the end, personally, I think you guys would agree as well, cannabis is the ultimate equalizer. It doesn't matter all of that other, what that is and who it can be. You just don't see dudes fucking standing in the middle, like doing an MMA fight after a big puff. That just is not happening. And if it is, they're doing way other things than smoking some chronic, yo. It just can't happen. It won't happen. I've never seen it happen in my life. And I would just be utterly blown away if it did. So that's kind of my thing. So 1997 was the year that I went there, and I stood right in. I remember standing there, I remember looking, and I remember Ben, and I remember Arian, and I remember Sensi, and a bunch of different companies. And I was like, you know what? I'm coming back here. I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to win one of those cups. I really am. And I ended up, it took me 10 years to do it, but I did do it. You know, I did do it. So.
Yep. We know you did, brother. Congratulations. That was great. You know, it touched on exactly how we were talking last night. It's true. You know what I mean? If you can't sit in the circle and help bring bread to the table for everyone else to enjoy, then what's the point of reserving that spot for you? You know what I mean? And you can only help people so long and only take so many bites on the nip of the hand before you have to, you know, disembark and say, I'm sorry, I just have to go my own way.
And that's the truth. And you know that. It's not a matter of, well, it is a matter of, it becomes of personal and business. And once you're willing to kind of separate those two and realize that, yo, that's personal, that's over here, and this is business. Business cannot be personal. Once you do that, you've ruined your business. And so many times we want to have our friends, family, or our people around us to celebrate it. But those people, if it was the truth, would either be doing the same thing or already be doing it. So it would be a matter of us having to reach out to lift them. They would already been lifted, and we're lifting each other across the finish line.
Right.
And I've learned that as well too. So you cannot lift those that will not be willing to lift themselves.
It's true.
Right.
So it's a heavy duty burden. And I think a lot of us go through friends or friendships in that manner, all of us in our lives, where we've had the thought or the idea of let's go into business together, and one having that fire, desire, and push to get to the finish line, while the others are not carrying that burden. And that friendship goes to the way because they put the personal in front of business, and they weren't looking at, now, and that probably comes with age and experience to know, as you were saying, when you walk away, right? When you get, hey, we did it. No, I'm cool. Love, gotta go. I can't do it. And you do have to do that, especially as you get our age, and I'm 52. I have to realize at a certain point, I don't have the bandwidth or time.
That's what I mean. You know, I say it all the time. It's all we have now is time. So at this point in my life, I'm 48. You know, I just don't have time for bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just not there. There's no point to it. You know, at this point in stage, it's better to dissect what you need and what you don't, and just attack what you need and leave what you don't to the side.
It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. So, but yeah, but that's how I got it down that first year, and from that came back after 97, and within 2 years we were living in Amsterdam by 99. We had a few places in Amsterdam.
Okay. Now, excuse me, but I just want to go back real quick to the whole the cannabis school. Is it now that was New York picked specifically because of the time framing and the legalization going on in New York, or was it just a coincidence that it just happened to fit?
Well, the actual New York was kind of, how do you say, like out of the kind of like box, if you will. They had some ideas, my partners, and so I had already had a school, as I said earlier, or many 10 years ago. Okay. So for me, it was pretty simple just to readapt it, turn it into what, and when I say readapt it to New York laws, and then put that into play. And we're just about finished. I've got most of the curriculum put into play. Now I've got the written curriculum and the course curriculum ready. I think they'll be ready next week, and then we're ready to open up May 1st. That's
awesome. And so now people will be able to attend the school here in New York, get an education, and have a degree that releases them and says, you are now educated to be able to do this, and such. So it allowed them to work into getting into legalization in the cannabis industry in New York. Is this the goal and the plan? It will be the starting. And what I mean by that is we have this will be the indoctrinating to the basic. It will be kind of a glorified Oaksterdam, if you will, where you'll get a certificate of completion. But we are in engaging at this point with a curriculum that will actually be a vocationary school. And that vocationary school now would take you into employment of and educating you, for the multitude of jobs. So it could be huge, So.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Now, and the courses are available to anybody, Bret?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are. They're available on, you can register, pre-registration now. They will be in person, and they will also be available online by the end of May. What we'll do is we'll shoot everything live and then broadcast them via online in the next month.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up.
That situation was weird.
Oh, I thought that was you, Laws. I was about to say, what you trying?
No, I think it's the gentleman driving Bret.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so Bret, let's get into the title, man. King of Kush. How did this come about?
Well, it's a beautiful thing. Thank God I didn't give that to myself, right? You know, sometimes you don't want to be too cocky or too crazy. So that came out. A young writer at the time, his name was Nico Escondido. And Nico Escondido was a young writer, came out, did a huge article on us, and it was called The California Growing in California. And that article, he came to Specialty Collective and down in LA on Van Nuys. When he came in, I think he just couldn't see, he couldn't believe it. He's like, Bret, you got like 15 different, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got OGs from Europe, Afghanistan, Pakistan, California, and other states. And by the time we were done, he's like, you're the king of Kush. And the next thing I know, they call me up and they're like, yo, look at the front page of HighTimes magazine. And I look and like, yo, 15 pages deep, the largest article in the history of HighTimes. It was me calling me the king of Kush. I was like, damn, yo, you made me Rocky, baby. So I got to and I was really, honored. And I got to say, what a big up to have someone call you out like that and really put you black. I mean, that was the one. That was the one for real.
That's the ultimate blessing.
Nico was a good doobie.
I love Nico, and there were some really good people there at HighTimes. You know that you work there, Jay, and I have a lot of good friends there, a lot of big ups. I think within the writing and the industry, sometimes you get almost to getting kind of a celebrity status to a certain point, but yet you have to remember you're the writer. Okay, you don't live and sell like fucking Ricky Ross or motherfucking John Lucas or my friend George Young. So when you don't play that game, but you want to write about us, you didn't step to that level, When you become friends with some of us, that doesn't make you one of us. And you take sides on what a story is, huh? And that's been kind of the big problem with a lot of these people, that at the end of the day, they don't really realize the bigger play of what we do or what we go through. And that's been kind of I get a little bitey sometimes because I'm like, yo, dog, don't play in the arena that that's not what you do. You don't play that. And when you want to come out, you want to talk, you don't know, and you're paying buddy sides. Buddy sides they don't help you. They don't help you, yo. And so that's the deal, that's the deal.
Doesn't matter, they're gone. It's not even, nobody's there anymore. And the kids that are there now probably wouldn't even know our names if we said it to them to their face. It's almost kind of comical. You know what I mean? It's sad to see where it ended, and it's sad to see where it went. But I understand what you say and exactly what you mean by there were definitely people there that overtook their status within the community because of the fact that they worked there and had the advantage of getting in the back doors of places, but yet had never really held a garden, processed a plant, or did these things, trap the pack themselves. So HighTimes did have a way of giving people status, but it's just not the same anymore.
Not to cut you off though, but do you think that's a contributor to why it happened the way it did? Because you had those people in power that really wasn't about the shit?
I think that, well, you know, the owner died. So, I mean, the person there didn't want to do it anymore. It's the classic tale of, you know, the person that had control of it, not setting it up for its future. And so therefore it got sold to one group, and then Adam came in and bought it. And then he turned it into his little corporate, whatever the fuck he wanted to make it. And now trophies are bought by dispensaries that can enter a fucking quarter pound of oil and, you know, ridiculous amounts. It's almost comical the way the cups are held now. To see what the cup is now and to see the way it's processed now and in the way it's turned into a monthly check for them of $500,000 in each state, it's almost disgusting. It's like when I worked there before, people would complain about it being crooked and corrupt in a sense of whoever paid the most money, but really it was law averages because the bigger companies would enter 30 fucking entries. You know what I mean? So law of averages, they're gonna win. And really, little guys like us won. We stepped in, Bret did it, I did it. We've all stepped in and grabbed our cups, you know? So it's like we didn't really have anybody there to do that for us. So you wanted it to be legitimate. You wanted it to be the pinnacle. But unfortunately, like anything, it became a volcano, it erupted, and now it's no longer there.
It's definitely been over the years, you know, I had a very intimate relationship with the Kennedys, and as well as Stephen Hagar, as well as Steve Bloom, and as well as most of the individuals. I brought Kyle Cushman out to Northern California. We basically taught him how to grow cannabis. When he first came out and came to Northern California, he did not know how to grow cannabis. That's a fact. And there was about 30 of us there to verify that. We had to teach him how to grow. The veganics is from us. The veganics came from a gentleman named Klein, Robert Klein. He owns Olympia Organics. He invented that in 1971, but he doesn't really feel like it really works too well. So anyways, that's a whole nother story, but it works good for a gimmick, and I'm happy for Mr.
Bret, you dropping gems in this interview today. I fucking love it.
Kyle's a great guy. Love Kyle. I don't want to, you know, have anything but respect and honor for him. But we all have a place that we have to start, and we have to do something. And I'll always give respect to anyone that's putting effort in and trying and being out there doing it. So much love to Kyle Cushman. Got nothing but love for him. But you know, we all had to start somewhere, right?
Absolutely. Why I say pay homage, bro. Respect those that came before you. You know, I said it to you last night. It's just the way that it is. If you can't have respect for the people that brought us here, then why should anyone have respect for you?
It's you know, I'm glad in a lot of ways. You know what? It's really cool to see these cats that have been really successful. Kyle Cushman successful, Dying Breed successful, Third Gen successful. The Duke's successful. I love seeing it. You know, I love seeing even advanced nutrients. I remember when Mike was, you know, working in the industry in a completely different set with helicopters and navigation systems. So, and it's great to see where he's accomplished and what he's done. You know, all of these cats have come from somewhere, and they put a lot of sweat. Even the Cookie crew. I mean, you have to look at it as much as, you know, we're probably burnt now on the Cookie name and this and that. But when you look at what they did and how they did, it was beautiful. And a way that they took it and moved our industry further. So big up to them for doing it. Big up. That's
it's evolution. It's a beautiful thing to see people evolve and to see it grow, because back in the day, you know, we couldn't be like we are right now. We couldn't get on and have a conversation and then post it for the world to see like this. We couldn't, these things weren't accepted. These things were, if you smoked back in the 80s, right? What I was told, oh, you're going to be slow. You're burning your brain cells. You're dumb. You're a lazy stoner. Like, you got categorized, and none of it was ever true. I mean, to be a pothead in our day was damnation. It wasn't cool. It wasn't fun unless you were part of in that crew. But anybody outside of the crew looked at us like we were lesser beings for smoking weed. You know what I mean? And now to see it evolve into what it's become, to be able to come out and grow it and make everything better than what it was, it's a blessing to have it. And it's a blessing to see everyone come up, no matter where their start or their well-being was in the beginning.
It's definitely one of those learning experience, but again, you know, it's so easy to get into what we talked about last night, the argument or the ego and all of that. And it's really just, I've come to the full circle that I'm just kind of done with it. I need to find peace. I need to find clarity. And I need to find some piece of finishing, of not just continuously arguing and arguing, because that just seems like that's all that's happening. And I don't.
What is that?
He said basically that he was done with the negativity. You know what I mean? He's ready for the positivity and to put that cherry on the sundae that he's worked so hard his whole life to build.
And really leave the kids with something, with my, if you look at it as far as where we're at right now, my kids, especially my daughter that I went to Amsterdam with, Kaya, she's ready to take over the company. So she's ready to open her own little place. And what she wants to do is called Kaya Kush's Corner. And she wants to talk about kids in their 20s, what it means to be part of the cannabis movement, having and growing up with Eddie, Jack, Dennis Perone and the Seattle Hemp Fest and everything else her whole life. Now she uses cannabis. And I think she's really about trying to teach people the truth of what we're doing. You know what I mean? Of what's happening and where we're going. So that's what we're looking for. The new breeds, right? The 20-year-olds.
Yes. I have 4 of them, so I definitely know.
Hey, that's the thing though. The new breed, these young kids need to understand the plant rather than just, utilizing the plant to say that they're utilizing the plant.
The more they're educated on it, the more they will. And that's the great thing about the internet today. That's the great thing about Google, right? Is you can actually Google things about cannabis now. You can actually look at things about cannabis. You can actually see, oh, this plant does this for me and this. You don't have to listen to the lies. You can go search the information yourself. You know what I mean? And that's a great spot where we're in right now.
But listen, Laws, that all goes back to what we were saying before, though. You have to want to learn to be able to do that. Do you think these kids nowadays want to learn to be able to do that?
Well, I think it's different. I think for people like us that were against the establishment, Bret, yourself, our kids have been taught to do that and to look for the signs in those kids to teach them. I always think there's going to be a minority of us that's always going to be against the establishment and is going to teach our next generation to be that way too. Cool. So there's always going to be a percentage of us that want to learn, but there's always going to be a large percentage of people that want to be sheep. It's just the way society works. It's your job to guide them, to be that shepherd. But at the same time, if you got a sheep that keeps banging its head into the fence, that's when you shear it and make it a meal. You know what I mean? So you just have to know when to be the herd and when to be the herder and when to be the wolf.
Definitely. I got you. Hey, but listen, Bret, I want to thank you for coming out and checking us out today, man, and kicking off this Cannabis series season 2 for us, man. You just the presence of the story alone, man. You dropped some hitters in there. You dropped some hitters in every stitch.
It's always good, and the one thing that I might leave you in closing here, because I know we have to get off, it's kind of loud, but at the end of the day, the reality of it is that, know this, you guys, everything that happens in our industry and how it is and what it is, all needs to be fact checked. Anyone can write a story. Anyone can get on the internet and put a story out. But that story, especially if they're talking about the police, all come with paperwork. All come with paperwork. And before you go out and you start passing judgment, reading some garbage and some, as they call here, turkey bacon. And when you're gonna do that turkey bacon, you better know what you're talking about. Because on the other end of that talk could be a visit to the wrong motherfucking shit, right? So at the end of the day, respect, honor, and love. And just know that at the end of the day, everything comes with paperwork. So check yourself. And just, love, spread love, spread love, spread love. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Blessings. One love. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Bret.
Bret,
One love, man. One love.
Before you go,
Coming
Bret,
out,
1
man.
second. 1 second before you go.
Bret, I appreciate you for coming out, man. But before you get up out of here, man, we got to end with our fave five real quick. I'm about to just ask you 5 quick questions. You answer with the first thing that come to your mind. All right? You ready? Your favorite cup?
I like the Cannabis, and the new thing that's going on is the squash off with Bobby, Uncle Stoner. But the Cannabis definitely probably my favorite.
Cannabis is, yep, I love it.
Okay. I'll give you something simple. What your favorite place to medicate?
Beside that place, I got 3 places. I love Ibiza. I love Ibiza, Spain. What they do, they send right on by the Rocas Fedra. I like Sinaloa, Mexico. Right with my boys. Nothing. Yes. And then I love Jamaica with my boys up on the mountain up on Orange Hill, the Jacksons and the Hogs. Okay. So I just love my family, and I love being with people that really love that.
All right. Next one. Flowers or rosin?
I love those Turks, so I gotta say I probably like that rosin. I like that rosin.
Okay.
We taking over the world, baby. But you gotta have the fire flower to have the fire rosin.
All right. Here you go, Bret. Indoor or outdoor?
You know, I you know what I'm saying? I've had some of the best cannabis I've ever had was the outdoor, but really probably to be true, it's mostly because you can get that special little love is the indoor.
Why do you think they killed them, brother? Why do you think they killed
All right, we're gonna end it with this last one. All right. You at we'll change it up. We're gonna make this appropriate for you. You at a cup. Let's say what you said, Cannabis or one of the squash halls, right? You get to pick 5 people to sesh with, dead or alive. 5 people to sesh with at Cannabis or at the squash off. It's you and these 5 people. Who are those 5 people, Bret?
I don't.
You guys are gonna love it. Martin Luther King.
Okay.
John F. Kennedy.
Okay.
Gandhi.
Them niggas out. They got a lot of pressure. Black got a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
Someone from Cleopatra.
Damn. Hey, Laws, that was something totally left right there, Laws, that just fucked my head up.
Right? Well, it's odd, okay, because usually you'll get somebody that'll state family or somebody that'll state like they're kind of heroes. But most here you got, I think, somebody who would just like to explore history and facts.
Yeah, man. Great conversation. Great conversation.
I'm all about learning, you guys. I think one of the biggest and most important thing of my life, and that's what I've done a lot in my life, is I travel. I've lived in probably 30 countries. I've lived in at least 40 plus. Right? Gotta hold this down.
Hey, Bret, man, listen. Appreciate you coming through, man. Giving us your time, educating us. I want to shout you out again. Good luck to you with the school. I might try to sign up for some classes. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I'll be in contact with you.
Thank you so much, you guys. I mean, I'm definitely on another time, get a different one, loud and proud here, but love to sit with you guys again. I'm going to be out here in New York. This is my new home, and just kind of let you guys know, kind of put that light on whatever's happening out here, and we can, just kind of keep you up to speed, especially your listeners, of what's really happening out here.
Definitely.
We appreciate you, brother.
We appreciate that and look forward to it, Bret. Absolutely. We'll be in contact with you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Blessings. And again, thank you so much for your time and getting that word out there about what we're doing. And we're really working as a community to get that voice out. So one love, blessings, you guys. One love.
We appreciate you, my brother. Peace. Stay blessed.
Bless, guys. Take care.
Tell a friend to tell a friend, man. We back. It's Cannabis Series, season 2.
Always.
It's
All
going,
right, guys.
man. We're going to set the thing off once again. Keep it coming and coming and coming. We'll be back next week with another live episode. Stay tuned.
Okay. All right. Bless.
Good. See you.
All right. See ya.